Hey, it's SickBoy from the Gaminganarchist Collective, and welcome to the long-awaited Top 10 Dickheads list. Now, I've got to apologise to you guys who've been looking forward to this video because it has been delayed due to the technical issues I had. I recorded this video about 3 or 4 times, and there was some horrific. I lost it. They were running about 40 minutes long, so I'm going to try and cut that down as best I can and come up with something a lot more concise. And also, now I have a camera that works, so whoopee-doo. Those of you who aren't aware of how this video works, what I do is between this video and my last video in the subject, I will track the people who I think are the top 10 people involved in gaming who have done something to warrant me wanting to call them a dickhead. Now, dickhead's a very specific thing. It doesn't mean they're the worst person. It doesn't mean that they've done something particularly evil, but it just makes me think, oh, God, you dickhead! So, hence, the title. Okay, so obviously starting off with the least severe at the top, most severe at the bottom. Simple enough premise, top 10 rundowns are all over the place, it's hardly a new concept to anybody. So, those of you who aren't aware, this has to be something that has occurred over the last calendar month or so. In this case, it's been slightly more, it's been about 6 weeks. So I have had to be fairly economical, and I've kept in a few things that I really wanted to talk about and have been left on the burner. Okay, so anything that happened outside of that time frame, you don't get an automatic pass into the next one just because you were mentioned as something particularly bad the previous month. Okay, so it is very much a snapshot rather than a running commentary of who I think are the worst people in gaming. Okay, so enough of that preamble, let's get into the video. Right, number 10. Number 10 is Nintendo. Nintendo, I hate criticising Nintendo because I feel they get such a bashing at the moment. They haven't got enough games for their Wii U. Publishers like EA are punishing them left and right. I don't want to keep hitting Nintendo. I don't want to hit Nintendo. However, the way they've gone about this Let's Play issue, I think is foolish. Because from the sounds of their what they said is they actually don't want to harm or damage their fans. They want fans to be able to put videos on. But they said, but we're going to make money off it, and you're not. Now that is a fair, it's a fairly thing. If they said we don't want anybody putting out unlicensed content on the internet, I wouldn't actually have too much of a problem because it's their choice to make. And if their fans get pissed off and don't want to make Let's Plays of their stuff, they're rightfully so, they're kicking themselves in the teeth and it's their decision. However, what they've done here is the reason that they're on this list as a dickhead is that what they meant to do was they meant to be supportive of their fans. It seems to me that that's exactly what they wanted when they said, don't worry, we're not going to stop you posting stuff online, but we are going to monetize it and we are going to copyright capture it. Well, you have to realise that there are professional people who do this, not just people who are YouTube Let's Plays, but journalists, people who actually do your advertising for you. I'm not talking specifically about Let's Players, because of course Let's Players do get damaged by this. People who do this for fun and want to make enough money to pay for their capture card won't make that money anymore. That sucks for them. That really sucks. And considering Nintendo didn't want to harm them, and in fact have, that makes you dickheads. But you are fairly up on the list, because I do like you, but stop it. Nintendo, stop letting people punch you in the head. You keep making these foolish ass decisions, and I think you deserve better than this, and your fans deserve better than this. You've got a loyal, die-hard fan base, and you just keep disappointing them. Fire Emblem excluded. That game is awesome. Thanks for publishing that. Right, number 9. THQ, the dead THQ. I'm digging up THQ just to have a little pop at them, and then put them back into the ground. And that is for Metro Last Light. Now, it all kicked off a few weeks ago about Metro Last Light because all of a sudden people magically realised something that I and a lot of other people knew about from last year. That when THQ announced Metro Last Light for pre-order, they announced the Ranger mode as DLC. It's day 1 DLC, and it would be charged otherwise, the way the game is meant to be played. That all went away when THQ went under. Deep Silver bought the licence. Deep Silver went through with the releasing of the game. All of a sudden, various news outlets, it gave Angry Joe pitched a fit about it because he then suddenly couldn't unlock the hardcore mode on his demo. Sorry, his demo and his review copy. And it all kicked off and everyone's shouting and screaming at Deep Silver for being twats. And then all of a sudden when they said, THQ did this, like, they signed the agreement, they signed the exclusivity agreement with retailers in order to give them this first day bonus. We're locked into a contract about it, we can't deal with it, we can't stop it. And people went, oh well, apparently THQ did it. Where were you people? Where were you fucking idiots when this was clearly actually in the news? But that said, THQ, for your dickish things, and it's just reminded me why you died as a business, why your stupid bloody practices killed you off. Because you were idiots, because you made stupid dickhead moves like this, and this is why your company is dead. Daft sods. Right, number 8. It's a specific person for a change, and there are a couple of specific people on this one this month. Yeah, this month. See, this is because I haven't been drinking my beer. It's given me a weird speech impediment. Funny that. Okay, this is Damen Mcferon. Those of you who don't know who Damen Mcferon is, he is an editor over at Nintendo Life. He published an article that sent, I don't know if you guys were aware of Alpha Omega Sin's work, but I like his stuff. It sent Alpha Omega Sin into a rage. And it sent a lot of other people really pissed off at a newspaper that a lot of them had never heard of. And that's The Guardian in the UK, which is a very left-wing liberal newspaper. And this guy, Damen Mcferon, wrote an article saying newspaper lists Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, all these Nintendo E for Everybody games on a list of violent video games. And it sent Alpha Omega Sin, the internet, off on a massive bitch fit about it. And I get why, because it's like, what the fuck are you trying to suggest that Mario or Animal Crossing or Pokemon isn't somehow making people violent? And then when I saw that, I tracked down the original article, which originally he didn't link into his poxy little thought piece, found it, looked at it, and it was a diagram. I did a video on it, I responded to Alpha Omega Sin on the matter. It was a diagram. And it was a diagram charting the top 50 selling games of 2012, and then it was linking each game to its relevant ESRB ratings. Which means that Mario has ESRB ratings, Zumba Fitness has ESRB ratings, FIFA, football, Madden, NBA, all of these games that sold well, not just your Call of Duties, not just your very violent games, not just Max Payne 3, but these lists were on the list because they were the top 50 selling games and they cross-related them to ESRB ratings. Now, it came with a 1-minute video that actually explained that there is no link, there has been no proven link between violence in games and violent actions. They even said that. They were just saying, for the sake of analysis, this is a breakdown of the top 50 best-selling games. These are the ratings and warnings as given to them by the ESRB in the US. There you go. That was it. That was it. And this guy's shoddy, rubbish bloody journalism resulted in a YouTuber I really enjoy going off on one. Thousands of comments on his video. People going, oh, fuck The Guardian, how dare they, they're fucking stupid. Like, look, okay, there's reasons you can criticise The Guardian, there's plenty. Historically, they had terrible grammar. They will be too left-wing for a lot of people's views. But this was not a reason to criticise them. And Damen Mcferon, your dumb bloody journalism. And I tweeted you about it, and you probably didn't see it if you ever see this video, and you ignored it. And I don't think you ever addressed the fact that you screwed the pooch. And you did. That was shoddy journalism, and that is precisely the reason that people, like myself, sit on YouTube and set you people straight. Because gaming journalists are among the least reputable journalists in the whole of media. You people a lot of you people are useless at doing your jobs, which is why a lot of people do it for free or do it in new media way better than you do. Damen Mcferon, you are a dickhead, mate. You're a dickhead. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, 7. Another slightly larger profile gaming journalist. This one's going to Adam Sessler. I've been very patient with Adam Sessler. I've been very kind to Adam Sessler. I've been very forgiving of his little foibles. I did a video saying I disagree with your opinions politely a couple of times. Never heard anything back from Rev3 Games whenever I messaged them. So, yeah, commenting in general, not being rude, but, you know, they don't talk to people. And they're certainly not big enough to be that aloof, because let's face it, the last reply video I did was to Total Biscuit, who responded to it and actually commented on the video. Granted, it was a stock comment, but he did reply and it was as a nice added bonus, I got a good few hundred subscribers from the matter. That was very nice to see. But they didn't even, and they've got nowhere near as many followers as Total Biscuit has on his own as a bloody YouTube personality. So, to pretend you're too big to talk to people seems a bit childish. But anyway, my issue with Adam Sessler, I've been very patient with him, and the reason that I've just lost it with him, I just think You're an arse. You are an arse, okay? He did a thing on his Sessler something a few weeks ago now. And he was asked a question about the phrase gamer entitlement. And they asked, what do you think of the phrase gamer entitlement? And he said, as politely and as sensibly as he could be at that point, he was trying to be diplomatic, and he said, well, you know, there's a lot of whining on the internet. You know, he does that, all these hands a lot, and mutton chops. So he does a lot of this. There's a lot of whining on the internet. People complain about nothing, and all I've discovered is they're a very vocal minority whose opinions don't matter. So it's nice to basically belittle them and say you're just entitled gamers. So basically he's saying he has fun out of calling gamers entitled if they don't like something. Okay, there's a big difference between being entitled and what you are actually entitled to. Now, we are all entitled as consumers to have what we pay for. You know, we pay for something, we're entitled to have that good. The goods are on the market, they're advertised as to being of a certain standard and a certain quality. You purchase them with your money. If you're not satisfied with that, it's not gamer entitlement. People didn't go after Findus. Findus didn't come back and go, look at all these entitled consumers complaining about the horse meat in our crispy pancakes. No, they went, oh, we're so sorry, we didn't know this was happening, we'll do something about it. Oh, we've really messed up, we apologise, please forgive us. Oh no, in the gaming industry, and the media will back this one up, it's good to just dismiss and insult consumers. The biggest example of which that he'd probably bring up was, there's two big examples in recent history that people say gamer entitlement. Okay, the first one being Devil May Cry. I've got nothing against people liking Devil May Cry, but the way Ninja Theory behaved and the way they acted, the way Capcom was so dismissive, that's why I don't like the game. That's why I'm not going to purchase the game. So I'm not going to play the game beyond. I played the demo, thought it was subpar, and didn't pick it up again. So I don't like that because the way they were dismissive and rude, okay? I'm not an entitled gamer for saying, how dare you talk to me like that? How dare you patronise me? And other people, how dare you be so goddamn rude? Get stuffed. And then they go, oh, entitled gamers whinging about hair colour. I haven't seen anyone whinge about hair colour of Devil May Cry since 2010. Where do you people get your news from? Anyway. The second one. And this is a big one. And this is one that he seemed to think was perfectly reasonable for him to say gamer entitlement. He didn't mention this one specifically, but this is a big one. And this is where people are like, oh, entitled gamers. Mass Effect. Mass Effect. Now, I have Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3. I love BioWare RPGs. Other than Dragon Age 2, which I thought was shite. Mass Effect got considerably lower in quality as it went along the series, but I also love the stuff that they come from. A lot of the BioWare Black Isles team. BioWare come from those old Black Isles RPG people, where a lot of people from Obsidian come from. They know their RPGs. They've got a good backing in RPGs. These are some of the people responsible for Baldur's Gate, one of my favourite games of all time. So when I was told this was going to be a bespoke experience, I was really excited, as were loads of people. And they got to the very end saying, you know, the end would not be an A, B and C decision. You wouldn't have to just pick 1, 2 or 3. It would be a bespoke ending based on your decisions, how your shepherd saved the galaxy. And what happened? We all know what happened. 3 different coloured explosions. Pick A, B or C. End. And people were furious. People were understandably furious. I hadn't actually played Mass Effect 3, so for one, that actually kind of ruined it for me because it was spoilers abound. And I still haven't got to the end of Mass Effect 3 because I've got a big game backlog. But people were livid with it. People went out of their way to make new theories, to make sense of the shitty ending. And then to go around and go, oh, you entitled gamers whinging. No! They were told specifically, this is what you will get. If I say, if you give me some money, I shall give you this apple. And then when you give me that money, I punch you in the face, and then you say, well, did you punch me in the face? You promised me an apple. And I said, don't be so bloody entitled. That is what's happening. And the fact that he supports that just shows what an industry stooge this man is. And I don't like using that phrase, but he really is. Because if you think of the other things he does, like the fact that he kisses Microsoft's arse and EA's arse on a regular basis, supports them with the blanket statement they've got to make money. Well, no shit. If they don't make money, they go out of business. That doesn't entitle them to get money by any means necessary. Have better practices, have better product, make more money, absolutely fine. Don't steal from your consumers, offer them rubbish quality for premium prices, stick microtransactions into a survival horror. Oh no, but they've just got to make money. Of course they do. They're a business. Maybe just have better business practices. You know, that's why in America you have the Better Business Bureau, that's why we have consumer rights services, things over here. Everyone has them because unchecked capitalism does silly stuff. That's the whole point. That's why you need a certain degree of control in a free market society, because some companies will take the piss. But Adam says seems absolutely fine with that. And Microsoft, when the Xbox One thing came out, the Xbox One announcement, which was universally panned by almost everybody, so few people are excited about the Xbox One. He even tweeted during the event that Microsoft had their own employees phoning in claps and cheers, which should be enough to go, this is bullshit. They are scamming the customers and pretending that people are excited when no one is. All the journalists going, while people at the back of us are going, woo! Xbox, woo! And then they're pretending that that's totally fine. You tweeted that it was happening. Surely it's stuck in your throat that you knew that people in the media were not cheering this item on. Oh God, and the fact that he's just kissing their arse. And I'm not talking about the interview he had, because frankly he would not have got the opportunity to interview Xbox employees if he didn't have pre-screened questions. If he gave them hardball questions, yes, he wouldn't get the job. And no, if Angry Joe was up, Angry Joe would not be offered the interview because Angry Joe would call them out. That's why he's not allowed to do that, because he's not willing to play the game to that degree. People were like, oh, we want Angry Joe to do this interview. Well, Angry Joe is notoriously weak on his questioning anyway. I've seen him interview devs. For all of his bluster on his vlogs, he's not actually follows it through with interview, but, you know, it's just, I'm just sick of Adam fucking Sessler. I'm sick of him. Dr. Phil of the gaming industry. Jesus, he's not even that much of a gamer. He only does it for his job. Really just annoys the hell out of me. Right. Number 6. Number 6 is Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft. I don't know why people say Ubisoft. I'm sure it's Ubisoft. Maybe it's Ubisoft. I don't bloody know. Anyway, there's a couple of things that really annoyed me with Ubisoft over the last couple of months. Last couple of weeks even. First of all, is the fact that Watch Dogs is coming out this year. New IP, could be really good. I'm quite interested to see if it's any good. And what do they offer? 4 limited editions with it. 4 special editions. Like they are with Assassin's Creed 4. Because for some reason a brand new unproven IP absolutely needs a really expensive statue. See these statues over here? Okay. The statues that I have, in fact I'll move across here, you can see a few more of them over here. Some are from games, some aren't. If I have these statues, it's because I'm a fan of the series and I buy the special edition of a next iteration of the game. You don't think I bought the Max Payne special edition because I particularly wanted to just take a guess on a brand new IP? It was an established IP that I grew up with. I wanted the Max Payne statue. I wanted the limited edition. I wanted to support the developers because, one, I trusted the developers to make a good product, and 2, I'm a fan of the series. So I did that. I'm not going to do it for an IP I've never bloody heard of, brand new IP that could be absolutely anything. Why would I do that? Why would I be interested in doing that? Why? And the second thing, the biggest bloody annoyance to me, was when they came out and they said that Splinter Cell doesn't sell enough. And they said it doesn't sell enough because it is too easy. Sorry, it's too hard. It's too hard for the gamers, for gamers, for mainstream appeal. Well, that's probably true. But Splinter Cell is designed to be a complicated, hardcore stealth game set in realistic, modern stealth scenarios. And for you to then go, oh, it's too difficult to sell enough. And they use the word, they use the A word. The A word that incenses me more than anything, accessible. If a door isn't accessible, there's a problem. If a game is difficult and requires skill, that is not a problem. Unless you were just looking to sell it to the lowest common denominator, in which case you're not producing a good product. Some games are intrinsically accessible. 2D Mario is a very accessible game, by design. You're not going to turn all games into this homogenized lump to make it easier. The reason that 2D Mario is accessible is because it hasn't really changed its formula much in nearly 30 years. That's why. Not because they decided it's too complicated, let's slim it down, give you less options, give you less things to work with, and make it easier, just to make people feel like they're enjoying the experience. For Christ's sake, Ubisoft. What are you doing, you dickheads? Right, moving down to the top 5. Okay, Capcom. This one's a fairly old one, but I did a whole video on the thing, so I'm not going to go over the points again. I'll link it in the description field when I do through the list. But this is Capcom for their terrible, terrible financial year, for their Phoenix Wright DLC costumes. The fact that Phoenix Wright is only going to be digital outside of Japan. Thank you for that one, Capcom. And also for pretending that Devil May Cry was a huge success when it sold arguably 1 million copies. Some people will say a lot less. Some people will say it was a success. Well, it was trying to get 5 million copies. It sold 1 or less than 1 million copies. So I don't see how that was anywhere a success. They bombed. They bombed big time. And you dickheads, you reap what you sow. This is what you get. Now give the Mega Man fans a bloody game, will you? Okay, number 4. They dropped a couple of spots from the last month's video because they are panicking and they are doing things less dickish over the last few weeks, mainly because they're terrified. EA. Oh God, why? EA, okay, here we go. Here we go. They fired 10% of their employees. SimCity 2.0 was an absolute abomination. They weren't releasing games on the Wii U. I believe they may have gone back on that now and said they are developing something for the Wii U, but they pulled Crysis 3 from the shelves. They literally had it finished. They had a working copy. They stopped developing stuff for the Wii U because Nintendo don't want Origins, because they see it as bloody spyware, and EA are like, well, if you don't take it, we're not going to give you any games, which is just bullshit practice, frankly. Oh God, what else? Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, they said that Frostbite 3 won't work on the Wii U, but they've managed to get the Frostbite engine onto Android platforms and current gen systems. So my spider sense is detecting some bullshit there. If you can run it on an Xbox 360, you can run it on a Wii U. Don't be bloody ridiculous. That's lazy coding and it's trying to punish Nintendo. Well, what else? A Star Wars license tie-in with Disney, sewing up no chance of there being a great Star Wars game. Well, those who are boycotting you don't get to play any Star Wars games. And yeah, granted, using Visceral, DICE and BioWare, which are your better studios, but frankly, it would have been better if it was an open source for anybody to bid and make a Star Wars game. But no, you had to sew it up because you love your franchises, don't you, EA? You just love having the franchise rights and going, woo, we can put out any old shit now. And because we've got the official franchise, people will fall over themselves and buy our titles. You are dickheads. But that's not just it. What else? The executives dumping their stock, which is hilarious. The exclusivity deal with Microsoft. And the fact that you backpedaled on the Online Pass. I'm glad that you're making Online Pass content free, but that's a good thing, and that's what saved you and only put you in the 4th spot. But let's face it, some of the things you have done, only over the last 5 to 6 weeks, are massively dickish. Can't bloody stand EA. Right, 3. This one's a slightly difficult one, but I'm going to stick with it. Chloe Sagal. Now, the reason I consider her high up on the dickhead list, those of you who don't know, now, Chloe Sagal, I say her because Chloe Sagal is a transgendered individual. She is a pre-op transsexual who wants to be a woman. Okay. She made the game Homesick, and she put a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo up to make money. She claimed that she was in a terrible crash, and she had some shrapnel that was poisoning her, and she needed to get it removed, basically because she was Iron Man, I can only assume. And this is, you know, buy Homesick on Indiegogo, support me, save my life, because my family won't support me, my insurers won't support me, I need this operation to live. Okay. And then a load of people started pirating Homesick, which I thought was really grubby at the time. And I thought, you douchebags, all these Let's Players making a bloody fortune off Homesick, thinking if this woman's dying, the money should be going to her. You know, an act of charity would be nice. And then it comes out. Oh, dear God. Now, Alistair Pinsoff is in a lot of trouble for getting involved in this. He is a... I believe it's Destructoid, yes, Destructoid contributor. And he discovered that the money was not for a life-saving operation in the slightest. The money was for a gender reassignment operation. He approached Chloe Sagal, said, I will go public unless you do, and sort this out. Indiegogo pulled the campaign, refunded the money to people who'd paid. She then went on Twitch TV, took an overdose and tried to kill herself. You're a dickhead. The reason you're a dickhead, and it's not because you're transgendered, it's not because you're clearly mentally disturbed, it's because you took advantage of people's kindness. You made me feel so desperately sorry for you. And I felt so... I don't actually right now have a PC that I game on, okay, right now. I'm planning on getting one, don't have one. I was tempted to buy the bloody game and not even play it just to support you. Because I thought, how sad that this poor woman is going to die. And it turns out you're a bullshitter and you wanted to have your penis removed. Well, I'm sure it's a very psychologically scarring and damaging issue to be transgendered, but fuck you for trying to defraud everybody. And also, the fact that you did this, now granted, the Alistair Pinsoff, he's in trouble. He is in trouble for releasing her information. That is a problem. He's in a lot of shit. However, he was doing his job as an investigative journalist. It's not like he was dock-dropping people for no good reason. It was like, this person's trying to kill themselves. They've defrauded people. People deserve to know why this Indiegogo was just pulled out of nowhere. Especially when people were going, oh, this poor woman's going to die because she has shrapnel in her body that's poisoning her, because she's seen Iron Man 2 and thought that was a very good idea. And clearly wanted to turn her life into the ending of Iron Man 3. Post-point spoiler alert. So, yeah, you're a dickhead. You're a massive... You're a bigger dickhead than EA for that. For taking advantage of people's good nature. Dickhead. Right, number 2. Oh, this is one's been a way going. Now, I've done a video on this in the past, not specifically about this person, but he gets my number 2 dickhead. Joe Biden. Vice President of the United States of America. Now, a little while ago I did a video about the Missouri tax on violent video games. And again, I'll link that video. There's no point having that rant all over again. I did a whole rant about the subject. I believe so did Alpha Omega Sin. In fact, I believe I did it as a response to him, because one of my subs came across and went, have you seen this? Watched the video and went, this is bullshit, and made a video about it. And he said there's no problem. There'd be no problem with doing that. The only thing I'd like to... As not an American, okay, I freely admit, I'm sure you may have spotted I'm not an American. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a Supreme Court judgment recently to say that video games are covered under free speech? Covered by your constitution? Isn't that fact? Isn't that true? Okay, so films, books... video games are all covered by the Constitution. You have your rating system, and they have it there for parents to make informed decisions about what to allow their child to access. And you think it's okay to just tax something because it has violent content, even though it's not aimed at children, even though there's no link between violence in media and violent people, except for the fact that violent people like violent media, but so do non-violent people. It's ridiculous, and you are a dickhead for doing that. You're just pandering to like the religious right and just stupid twats who all they want to do is find an scapegoat and pointing, oh, scary, the scary games. Oh, the scary games. They make my little Timmy into a murderer. Or maybe you just haven't brought your child up properly and they're mental and you haven't noticed. Maybe your child has severe psychological disturbance and you haven't picked it up. So do yourself a favour. Look out for your own child before he shoots and tries to rape you. I'll link the video where I mentioned that from a few weeks ago. That was distressing as hell. And the fact that these people are capitalising on this to try and make more tax money off a consumer because of what a few nutters have done, it's despicable. It makes you a dickhead, Joe Biden. Right, number one. And I'm not going to go into this to number one. I'm going to announce that this is going to be a follow-up video that I'll do in the next few days because this video is going on long enough. Number one, Microsoft. It had to be bloody Microsoft. Your Xbox One reveal was a freaking joke. Anyone who hasn't seen the video, go Google the Xbox reveal in like 2 minutes. It's TV, Xbox, TV, sports, Halo, Call of Duty, woof! We've got some games, by the way, and look, do you know what? Got a smart TV. Not to be boastful, I've got a big Samsung Smart Hub telly. I didn't bother going for the one with the hand control, but I could go for that. I didn't want it. I like remote controls, frankly. It has the Smart Hub. I can play my cable box through it. I can watch YouTube, and I can get my films on Netflix or Love Film. I can go on demand stuff. I can use a browser. I can do all these wonderful things that your Xbox claims to add. Well, do you know what? It makes more sense to make the one hub in your place the telly, because guess what? You still need a telly, don't you, to plug your bloody Xbox into. So anyway, I'm going to go into that in more detail in another video. But Microsoft, the way you have acted, and particularly the way you've just been so bloody silent about answering straight bloody questions about what your product does and does not do, makes you the biggest dickheads of the last month. And I'm looking forward to E3 because I think it is going to be a very interesting top 10 dickheads list because we're going to get an awful lot of information from a complete bunch of assholes. Okay guys, thanks a lot for bearing with me over that. I'm sure it went on for quite a long time. I can't tell exactly how long, but I'm going to say it's probably somewhere around the half an hour mark. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Catch you guys later.